Know this. Introducing the original blood clot podcast, not players. Soothing semantic. Special dedication. All the way from New York. Boom. Yeah, man. SWOT semantic. Yeah, me know. Boom. Soothing semantic. Yeah, me know. Big ups to the man. Soothing semantic.
On another episode of Soothing Semantics, I'm your host, Rafi Pinsky. Make sure to subscribe, like, share. Check out my Instagram at Rafi the Realtor. Check out Sean Soderstrom's Instagram page at, is it Sean Soderstrom?
Yeah, it's Sean Sod, but the better one might be Corded.io.
Yes, so we're going to go into Corded.io. So, ladies and gents, I have God, this is a tough tongue twister. Sean Soderstrom on the podcast today. Thank you so much, Sean, for joining me.
Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely, brother. So Sean is the CEO and founder of Corded.io. And Corded is a fairly new site. It's a new platform that allows realtors to connect. I'm going to give you the floor so you can get into it more. But I met Sean at a penthouse that a wonderful realtor, Mendel Fellig, was showing. You know, he listed the property. You know if that's sold yet, by the way?
I'm not sure, but I think that they got some pretty good leads out of the event that we did with them. It's really nice.
I imagine so. Yeah, it was a great event. So Sean and I met, and we spoke about Corded. So Sean, go into Corded for us today. How you started it, how things began, and the floor is yours.
Sounds great. Yeah, thanks again for having me. So,
absolutely, brother.
Yeah, I started my career in real estate as an early employee at Urban Compass, now Compass. So when I joined, there was just one office in New York with a few folks who were trying to get the business off the ground, and rightfully so, the whole company was focused on growing within New York, which is one of the top two largest and real estate markets in the country. And I kind of presented a long-term strategic roadmap to Robert Rufkin, the CEO, and a big component of that was growing the business outside of New York, and figuring out how Compass would work in markets that had an MLS, which was something that was unique to New York, was the lack of that integrated data system. And so I created and led the national expansion function for Compass, which included really everything to do with getting access to the data, recruiting top agents, finding the office space, hiring folks around the country to work with those agents. And I became just enamored with this industry and the plight of the agent, right? And think about it, it's this biggest and most diverse group of entrepreneurs in the United States. They constantly switch between companies, and they're seeking to grow their business. And unfortunately, you see something like 50% of agents drop out in their first year. And
it's a lot higher, by the way, Sean. In the 80s.
It's a lot higher. Yeah. I've heard, it's either 50 in the first year and 70 by the end of the second year, but it might even be worse than that. And you're seeing, an all-time high number of realtors around the country, which is fantastic. But there's limited, available inventory, and it's tough to get set up, and figuring out how to navigate what might, from the outside, seem like a simple and easy job. But then once you get into it, you realize it's extremely complicated, and there's far less training, far less modern, intuitive tools to help you. It felt like a great place to get focused on with a new entity. So after Compass, I went to McKinsey, and I was helping to build out and lead the residential real estate practice. And when I was there, met my colleagues, now co-founders at Corded, who are software developers and data science folks by trade. And we were building, really exciting software for the big brokerages, the online listing portals. We were helping investors to evaluate some of the technology companies in the space. And then we started Corded in April of 2021. And the goal of Corded is a one-stop platform to help agents grow their business. And fundamentally what we do is help an agent grow their network of like-minded professionals around the country, creating a community for those organic relationships. And then folks can actually get real business value from that by finding and getting matched with referral opportunities around the country. We take market information and deliver it to the agent in a really modern, clean and intuitive way, so that they can then take that information to their clients. And then, the opportunity to find teams and find the right opportunities, find the right team members, things that, that we're relatively uniquely positioned to do, because we take modern technology and then really powerful real estate data and combine those two things together with the agent as the center of the experience.
That's fantastic. There's not Keller Williams where I am. They have referral programs. They have certain things set up. The way Corded has its website, you guys do have an app already or not yet?
Everything's mobile responsive, so you can use it on your phone, but our app, we're excited about it. It's coming out at the end of March 2022. So
that's fantastic.
It's now everything you get on your app, you'll soon that and more.
That's amazing. You just got cut out a little bit. Seems like we're mostly there. Hopefully it won't be too bad. So I checked it out. I love the layout. I love the color. Everything seems very user friendly. I see a lot of the big player agents on it, especially when at the end of the year, I kind of showed their stats, their numbers. So that was very cool. Mm-hmm. So you mentioned what your company brings to the table that we haven't had, and it definitely hit me in terms of the difficulty realtors have in becoming successful. Because you can close a couple of transactions as a realtor, but very few are making the kind of money and doing the kind of business that they'd like to. I think you mentioned that we're at an all-time high in terms of how many realtors are in the business. I think that just happens naturally because people see how the market is and they want to jump on the bandwagon. But when it comes down to the market slowing down, which will likely happen at some point, that's where they're all going to suck, quite frankly. Because that's where the skills come in. Right now, properties are selling, right? They're pretty much selling on their own. So a realtor needs to do work, obviously. I'm not saying it doesn't take any work, but it's very easy to jump into something when things are good. And I think the career is a fantastic career regardless, but you know how people are. Oh, wow, look at the market. Look how all these realtors are closing so many deals. Let me do it too. Until they realize what it's really all about. So I love what you guys are working on. And what are some other things that you have planned? So you have the app coming out in March. What are some other things that you're working on?
Yeah, just on that previous point, right? One of the things that's interesting about this business is it's very cyclical in nature, right? So there are some things that are changing, also some things, right? So to the point that you just made, you typically will see as the financial markets are performing, the real estate market performs well, more people are attracted to the business. And then you get to this point now where you have all-time high pricing, inventory shortage, and then lots of agents in the business. But what's happened when you look at past financial crises is when the price of real estate goes down, people who are just barely treading water or new to the industry often drop out. And then those that are doing well and are well capitalized and have a big team, they tend to consolidate and actually recruit more. They tend to potentially switch brokerages. And then even you see consolidation from a brokerage perspective where just will be recruiting like crazy. Able to make a switch, listings under contract that make it challenging to move at anyone. It'll be interesting to see what happens with that, and already can enable a lot of that movement and change. So in terms of the stuff that's coming out, right? We have a number of things that our users and members have asked for, right? So the way that we think about what we build is is we listen deeply to agents across production spectrum, across different brokerages to figure out what are the painful things that we could help you solve through technology. So a couple exciting things that are coming out. Number one, a mobile app to bring it all together in one place so that you can access a lot of these tools on the go. Number two, a news feed that takes relatively well understood but modern concept and deliver data about the market, data about other agents that you cooperate and compete with, and about the companies that you work for or might consider working for, all in one place, powered with this really interesting real estate data, but also personalized to the user. And so that will be a really interesting way for folks to save time, get really smart every morning, and then send information to their clients that it would have taken a lot of effort to go find that. We'll proactively deliver it to you. We have brand new, newly designed achievements and awards. So we're getting more specific and more exciting with the production-based achievements that come out. And a week from today, so on, I think February 7th, we're going to have these beautiful newly designed awards that I'm sure you'll see all over Instagram, and that will be great. Something that just came out that folks are beginning to use in a big way are teams. So a lot of agents don't actually work independently, and they work as part of a team. But the MLS was not set up to account for teams. They have 2 agents on the buy side, 2 agents on the sell side. Mm-hmm. So you have like a problem both for the team principals and the team members. For the principals, some of them are not getting the credit for everything that the team members are doing because they want to boost the team member profiles. And then on the other hand, you have a lot of team members who are not accounted for on deals because they were just part of a large team. So now what we do is the ability.
I'm not part of a team. I'm a single agent, but I see how sometimes an agent kind of gets left in the dark and the team itself gets all the credit. And it's like, oh, but that agent, deserves some love,
Totally.
But they fall under that umbrella and they're just like they're a number, so to speak. That's how it seems. Yeah,
exactly. And so we have the opportunity for, each team member to have their own profile, but also to have a team profile and to basically go and assign transaction credit to everyone who actually participated on the deal. So we don't constrain 2 agents on the buy side or 2 agents on the sell side. In fact, the corded resume should become the digital real estate resume that accurately reflects what happened. Mm-hmm. And then, why should you go do that? Well, people are getting matched. Even now, team members are getting matched for referral opportunities in a way that they would never have before because it was all about the principal, which is good for the entire team. On top of that, the team members are getting awards and achievements. It will often happen that the team member is very specialized in one area that they live in or that they farm, and that's lost in the MLS data. And so, really bringing forward that specialization and creating assets for the agent that they can share with their client is a big time-saving opportunity and a way to actually generate new leads for a lot of those agents.
It's so important. What I'm noticing, so for me, I need everything to be automated, and every agent does. What I mean by that is I am the one that likes to be in the front. I'm not a back-end guy. I want to be the communicator, the negotiator, the salesman, the closer, the solve the problems, be the therapist, all that stuff. That's what I prefer to do. For a lot of people, that's a massive headache, understandably so. But at the end of the day, that's, quite frankly, that's where the work really comes in. Everything on the back end, the documents, the technology, all that stuff, I don't even want to think about it, So because I haven't been in the business for a long time, obviously capital is a factor, but I'm trying my best to find systems that I can understand that are user-friendly because I don't pick up on this technology as easily. So for instance, if we're comparing an iPhone to a Galaxy, the Galaxy might have a lot of features the iPhone doesn't have, but I don't need all these features. If I need someone to figure out how to download some random app, I'll call the guy. I'd rather just have this user-friendly face where all the apps are, and I can quickly figure out how to do what I need to do. And I think that's most people. Most people want something user-friendly than for me to deal with all the complications. I know I could learn the Galaxy if I had it. I would adjust to it. But I'm much more of a fan of if it's easily integrated and it's easily used, then sign me up, take my money.
Yeah, totally. Well, that's a very, very common feedback that you hear from all kinds of realtors, right? And really what you should be doing is leaning into what you're best at and what gives you the most energy. And those things often for realtors are, working with the clients, touring homes, closing deals, winning the listing presentation, right? Negotiating and selling, getting an offer signed for the home. And so, with that feedback, what we've begun to do with the Courted products is to essentially have one action result in a very exciting set of follow-on actions that you don't need to touch. So as an example, you could say, I'm farming this building. I actually did this with an agent. They're farming a really exciting building in Sunny Isles. So once you do that, then what should happen, right? And what we're imagining is that you would be texted changes to that area when price per square foot threshold has been crossed, when pending sales have gone, when open active transactions have gone under contract. You get these notifications. They're actually texted as assets to you with your face and name on them, and then you immediately just send it to the 5 owners that you know in the building. That is an example, right?
Well, real quick, would it be, Sean, would it be possible for you not to actually, when you say send them to the owners of the building, you're saying that I would receive it and manually send them? Would it be possible to integrate that where that's automatic as well? Where like I kind of put Sam, Bill, Jane, and Doe into that little Sunny Isles, say they all live in Armani Casa. Well, no, not Armani. Is Armani in Sunny Isles? I'm being a silly pants. I think it is. Anyways, we're gonna leave that in there because I deserve that. But say the Porsche building, 5, say there are 5 people I want to send it to. It would be nice if I can have that integrated as well.
Yeah, we've heard that feedback, and we're actually working on designing that right now, right? So the goal again is to help the agent, the realtor, focus exactly on what they're best at, have one initial step, then take a lot of the headache off of the realtor's hands. But then as soon as the client's interacting with that information that you've sent, you know to go back and have a conversation, right? And so those types of automated solutions to help manage your clients, I think is really exciting, and it's definitely something that we're going to be coming out with soon.
Awesome. No, I really love what you guys are all about. So just to give you a little scoop, this is what I do. I have Vulcan 7. I don't know if you've heard of it. Probably have. They're one of the dialers, and they have it's pretty much the best dialer you can get. They have the most accurate numbers. They're also the most expensive, but they also have Zoom classes. I don't join too many of those, but in terms of the way it's formatted, it's a very nice and clean, user-friendly system. So I'm very happy with that. What they don't really have is a CRM that has a whole drip campaign and all that nature. So then you have to start buying different programs. What I think every realtor is begging for is one platform that's really an all-in-one, that has the dialer, that has the CRM, that has the follow. Well, the CRM hopefully would have the follow-up integrated, a drip campaign, an email campaign, where it's all in one, even if it costs a couple of $1,000s a month, but it's got everything in there, and it's user-friendly, and you don't have to switch to different companies, and you don't have a bill with Follow Up Boss, and a bill with Vulcan, and a bill with him, and a bill with that, but everything is combined and what's the word I'm looking for? I guess interlocked, whatever the word is. Well, integrated, but okay, either way, that works. I've been using that word the entire episode. Anyhow, so once I have a client in Vulcan, I take notes, but then I tend to use like Google Calendar, which works for me, but it's a bit of a slower process. It's definitely not the most efficient way. And what I essentially wish I had was if Vulcan had a way to put the contact directly into a drip, because Keller Williams has what's called Command. I'm really not such a big fan of it. I don't really like how it works and how it's set up. They do have a drip. They have different kinds of drips that are already organized that you can just throw your leads into. But with Vulcan, I have to take the leads, export them with a CSV, and there isn't a proper way to export them with that CSV and then put them directly into Command. It just doesn't work. So this marketing company was set up to literally sit there and like figure out, they do it, they take the contacts and they format them in Excel in a way that transfers over to command, which just isn't, there's a clear issue there. They don't have a solution to it. That's a clear problem.
Yeah.
So just having that all in one situation where it's a no-brainer. John Doe, I called him for sell by owner. He said, you know, he's willing to meet tomorrow. He has 3 kids, a dog, whatever, boom. Right. I don't want to have to think about it. And that's, there are definitely, there's room to grow. So
yeah, you know, it's hard to be a realtor, right? Like I think, you know, the first of all, the knowing what to do and how to win is constantly evolving, right? The channels that you're using, the platforms themselves are changing what they value and what they promote. You know, integration is just step one, where you can connect 2 things, but then you still have 2 bills. They still don't perfectly sync up. What you're describing is this kind of all in one, where it's not even just integrated, it's actually all under one kind of single front end, right? Which is very exciting to imagine and hard to execute. And you know, what's interesting for each of these companies, right, is each of the things that you were describing is an example of one step that follows another step, right? And when you have all of this, it's almost at each point, there's 50 different companies that any software would need to integrate in, right? So you're even beginning to see now, like you gave that example of companies that don't actually play one step, they're actually just an integrator. And that's another step for an agent to go find, is the company that sits in between the CRM and
exactly. And then what happens is you have, I'm sorry, just real quick, you have these, then what also happens is, to complicate things, you have every step along the way, as you mentioned, there are 10 companies competing with each other. So you're always thinking, okay, well, do I have the best system? As opposed to one system, maybe if there were 5 of those same systems that were completely integrated, my head, can you imagine the clarity of mind you have? Obviously there's so many other things to worry about, but now you have a fully integrated system. There may be 4 other systems like it. You can decide from the 5 systems which one you want. You pay whatever it costs. Done deal, c'est la vie, right?
Yeah. You know, that's, we were very aware of that when we started Courted. And part of the reason that we have kind of a multi-sided value proposition to the agent is we want, with one login, to be able to do a bunch of different things. And over time, we're going to add more value in each of those steps, but then also expand what we offer. And the goal is that you would be able to run a lot of your business off of the Courted platform and off of your phone. And it wouldn't necessarily require integrations. It's actually multiple things that you can do in the same step. The beautiful thing about what we have is we have taken all of this transaction data from the MLS and transformed it to focus on the agent. So everyone has a profile. So because we have a profile, we can take that information and incorporate it in all of the different marketing steps that an agent might take. So on our platform, we can create personally branded versions of every piece of market data that you would want to share. And we can automatically give that to you, right? And so there's a lot of value in having this back-end infrastructure that we've created, which is, it's a really complicated work. Most of the companies that you're talking about don't touch MLS data. They're not really in the business of working with the MLSs or the associations in a way that really help the industry. They're just kind of charging agents and not really that focused on helping them, in some cases, grow their business. Some of them, it's a little bit more focused on saving time. What we do is we say, listen, our whole business, our whole company is premised on the understanding that the agent is a very critical component of the real estate transaction of the future. And if we can create a digital augmentation to your immediate network, that's valuable, right? Now you know who to reach out to beyond the 10 or 100 agents you know. We can give you a platform to reach 1.5 million agents around the country. And we can do it in a way that promotes this kind of organic sense of community. So all of the stuff around following and messaging and sharing awards with one another and, suggesting friends, suggesting mentor-mentee relationships, suggesting team recruit relationships. Those are so natural to a platform, and we actually haven't even gotten to those features yet. And so it's going to become not just an experience of one, but an experience of a network very soon when we release some of those new features as well.
Okay, hold on. I have a bit of allergies, so I'm literally like one of my eyes. There's just like tearing.
Oh, no. Did I make you cry?
Yeah, this is an emotional story, Sean. I should just edit this. Just edit this as like a blooper or something. Recorded. The app is coming out. I've waited so long. Yeah, it's an awesome thing. It's an enormous amount of work. It's just like, I notice, although I'm not a techie, I'll notice things that just aren't smooth. We all do, I think, as realtors. You'll just say, I wonder if there would be a way to kind of make that work. And now now that we're having this conversation, that we're getting to know each other, when I start to notice these things, I'm just going to mention them to you. I'm just, get your feeling on them. There's an app I use. Well, not a phone app, but it's a website called Homebot. It's an application.
Yeah.
And have you heard of it?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. So I really like them. It doesn't do that much. It's not some incredibly complicated or complex site, but I think for what it's meant for, it does quite well. It would be nice if it had maybe some kind of email, but that's what always happens. Anytime I use one of these apps, it's like, okay, it's great, but where are the other steps? It does one thing, but I'm missing so many other things.
Yeah, I think that's the problem with thinking about the process of building software for agents as isolated steps. These are not isolated steps. Like whenever you're doing home property information, that needs to sit either side of which homes and neighborhoods am I considering from a analytics and trends and insights perspective. And then of course, how do I get this to my client, right? And so to build that one thing and not consider the step before and after, which is not my suggestion with Homebot, but that would be a mistake because the agent's looking to do something with that, right? There's often this question, that's cool, so what? There's a lot of that reaction going on to some of the emerging technology in the space. And so closing the loop and making something an end-to-end process, right? It doesn't need to be the beginning of when you started as an agent to when you retire as an agent, but at least doing something end-to-end for a client is useful.
The data transfer, it's just when I have to manually put things into my phone or just email something from one to the other or export a file, everything just ran smoothly. It's day and night. Any realtor would say the same thing.
Yeah. Well, if you think about, right, just kind of step back a little bit, right? 10 years ago, the problems that we're having today with technology wouldn't even be problems that you're thinking about solving with technology, right?
Oh,
it's
sure.
So-and-so isn't answering my call. I'm not getting this service from my brokerage. I can't believe the MLS hasn't given me this. Now we've gone to this point where the MLSs have evolved. They've been very open source to allowing technology companies in to help the members, which is fantastic. And we have a great partnership with the Miami Association of Realtors. And more of these technologies are coming into space. Now they may do one thing or two things, and they may not do things end to end, but we're moving in that direction for sure. And then, it's interesting to think also about what is the parallel process for the consumer? What does that turn into, right? And there's a lot of big companies betting a lot of money on trying to get the agent to come through a digitized process from finding the home all the way through closing. And, whether it's the mortgage companies trying to do that, some of the brokerages are trying to do that. There's back-end software that's looking to move forward and try to do some of that. And so it's interesting to think about that parallel process for the consumer is how do you make their experience more digitized? And sure, you can send them listings, but is there a way of kind of connecting steps for them and having them walk through your app, right? That's sure. It looks like you didn't have to build it yourself, but is there a company that can help you navigate your clients even through an app all the way through, where you see their interactions, you can collaborate on the homes, you can discuss valuation, you can discuss a negotiation strategy, you can have them review and approve the, if they're a seller, the marketing materials. You can together select which staging companies to use. Do you want to do it virtually or not? They can have a video of people walking through the home during the open house. Like, you can imagine a lot of these things becoming digitized,
Sure.
right? And so, we're at this point where, some of the things are a little painful, but it's exciting to take a bit of a longer term view and say, wow, we really have the basis of what could be a pretty exciting experience for the consumer. And what I want to make sure is that as that becomes more digitized, the agent isn't an afterthought. We want to take technology and put it in the hands of the agent, so the agent can make it become more powerful. Whereas some of the other companies in the space are looking to steal the clients away from the agents. Whether
We know
that's
one of those companies quite well.
the online listing portals, the iBuyers. There's even companies that will, basically discount or give the brokerage transaction fee for free because they're making money on other parts of the transaction. And sure, those can provide like an interesting consumer benefit. I think that there's a space for realtors who are doing amazing work for the client to provide a better service than those other types of companies. And in order to win in the future, the agent needs to do more than just what they're doing today. And we want to be the company that enables that for the agent.
Sure. I hope all this technology doesn't come at the expense of somehow a realtor getting less commission because they feel like, oh, well, all this stuff's so integrated. You have all these things at your fingertips. In general, it aggravates me when some of these realtors come in and offer some ridiculously low commission. You'll have some listing agent take they'll have to compensate the buyer's agent to something reasonable anyhow. I mean, anything less than 2%, most buyer's agents, quite frankly, are gonna wonder what's going on. But you'll have these crazy listing agents. They'll pay the buyer 2-3%, but then they'll take like 1% on their end. That hurts. It just hurts. It's a very bad idea. I don't know why they don't see that in terms of you're lowering the standard. You never want to lower the standard. We have to, as much as it's a competitive field. It's also not because of how so many realtors do such little business, such few business, such small amounts of business. Bear with me. But at the same time, that would be my only concern. But I think in actuality, it shouldn't make any sort of difference. Meaning, technology grows, people feel like, well, look how easy your job is. Back when my father was a realtor 40 years ago, you think of all that they had to do to make a sale.
Yeah, listen, I think fundamentally, anyone who's actually worked with a really experienced realtor or with a really hardworking realtor does not think of it as a cost, but they think of it as an investment, right? So whether you're on the sales side and you get a 10% increase in home value, or whether you were able to work the specifics of a really complicated transaction in a way that attracted, got the right terms or attracted the right buyer for a very unique type of sale, or as a buyer, you had a really experienced negotiator who helped you negotiate against a professional on the other side of the deal. That's a big fear because you have two-sided representation most of the time. These are all reasons that ways that the realtor provides value. Now, I think there should be more advocacy for the value provided by the realtor. I think that there's an opportunity for that. We'd like to help with that. I think the NAR does a good job of that as well. But really making sure that the top realtors are the ones who are the most hardworking realtors, the most earnest ones are the ones who are finding clients and winning those opportunities to work with those clients is another thing that we want to help do, right? You'll often find folks who are not confident in their services looking to discount the commissions. And if you're looking at it as just as a cost center, if it's just a cost center to you and you think you could do it yourself, you take that to its logical conclusion and there are no agents at the end, right? If you should just honestly do it by yourself if you're planning to not work with a professional. who's serious. But if you do view it as an investment, then I think that's an exciting opportunity. Now, could realtors do a better job of showcasing the financial value that they provide to their clients? Absolutely. I think that's a big opportunity. And I've seen very few realtors who take a retrospective financial view to their commission, where they take, here's how much I was paid, and here's what I did in the negotiation price over a series of 10 clients in the last 6 months. Look at what I provided value relative to my commissions. That would really convince a financially motivated client, but I don't see enough folks thinking about it like that. It's a big opportunity that we would like to help folks think about.
Okay, this opens up a great window here. This is a fantastic conversation starter. The barrier to entry to real estate is too easy. I'm glad I got my license already, so I'm good. But I mean, quite frankly, I mean, they should make it harder to become a real estate agent. I'm not saying it's we're going to medical school here. We're not opening heads, but listen, we're irresponsible for selling most people's most expensive assets. So to just go through some simple tests, I mean, it's easy. It's easy. Like, who are we kidding here? For some people, it might be considered hard. It's not a 2+2, but it's definitely not an MCAT. So I think it should be a little bit harder to get the license. There should be certain ways to kind of filter out some of these people, because there are, quite frankly, a nice amount of realtors that really shouldn't be doing it. They're just, they don't take it seriously. They really don't value the clients. They'll lie to them at a moment's notice. And thank God there are plenty of honest realtors, but there needs to be, I think, more of a filtration. And I think that's a large reason as to why what happens. And I think many people will agree. To put it simply, to cut the,
I think that the fact that folks from a diverse set of backgrounds, by diverse set of professional experiences, diverse set of educational experiences, can thrive in this industry is a good thing. It means that there's a diverse group of realtors to begin with, which frankly match their end customers, right? So that's a good thing. Now, but I think there could be an opportunity for more accountability throughout the process, whether that's in terms of, more things up front, or more continuing education, and, the ability for, and the incentive for people to raise their hand when they see unprofessional business practices occurring. People, I think, see it a lot more than they take action on it, because there's a fundamental fear that you never know when you're going to run into this realtor again, whether they're on the other side of a future deal, part of your next brokerage, or whatnot. So, there's an accountability issue there. And I think for sure it would be better for the clients if folks, if the realtor community had a little bit of that moderation. But I do obviously think that it's good that a lot of people can make a living in this space. So it's not black and white to me, but I'm sure there are some things that can be done to help ensure that bad things aren't happening around, obviously, a really important part of the client's financial career.
Sure, absolutely. So I'm glad you see it that way. But overall, I mean, my experience has been, and I think also, thank God, I have a good idea of who I would like to do business with. But I've met so many wonderful people who are in real estate, whether it's investment or working as realtors. Now, we discussed both questions, in terms of what got you started, what you're looking to accomplish. How can agents join? How can they get involved? Other than obviously looking you guys up.
Yeah, so we have right now we're giving away a lot of pretty exciting functionality for free to agents, and that's going to continue to be the case for those that sign up within the next 2 months. And so, it's important for folks to come and check out Courted in the near term if they're curious. It's courted.io is the website, and again, the tools are free. You come in, you claim your profile. You get access to really exciting market reports. When you save them and come back to the platform, the data is automatically refreshed, and you can, really quickly farm and get in front of clients. There's all kinds of exciting tools and features that I mentioned that are coming out in the near term. And very shortly, we're going to be launching in Southern California, and then in Chicago, and DC, and New York. So very soon, folks from around the country, realtors from around the country, will be looking and running searches for referral partners in Miami to try to find folks. And it's not just the top 10 in the city who are going to be getting those deals. Mm-hmm. The nice thing about what we try to do is say, we're going to allow for a very specific search. It used to be that you have to go to some industry ranking to figure out who's the best in Miami. Well, guess what? Most people are not looking for the number one. They're looking for the number one in my niche. But how do you figure out who's the number one in your niche? You can't do it on LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. You can't do it on Instagram. And so we help agents do that. And it's really exciting for folks to get involved right now, especially while a lot of the tools are free. And we're beginning to build more automated solutions that I mentioned, right, to help work with your client, so you can spend more time doing what you do best, working with your clients, and we can help manage those infrequent touch points that allow you to also get credit, right, prepared for client by Rafi. Here you go. And so you're constantly getting credit every week, but you just interacted with the tool once. And it's core to helping our mission of helping agents grow their business.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. I'm very I have an account with you guys. I have to make sure it's up because I got a new phone recently, so I just have to go into it and make sure everything's good. But I definitely did set it up. I'm buddies with Steven Kupchan. You've met him. He was at the Penthouse as well. He joined Compass recently. So my boy, really good friend of mine. If he's listening to this, which I'm sure he may, shout out to you, Steve. So so he's also with you guys, and I'm going to end off here, unless there's something that we missed that you do want to discuss.
No, thank you so much for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
My pleasure. So guys, make sure, if you are in real estate, make sure to check out Corded.io and the internet. Stay tuned for the app. If you do have questions, they do have an Instagram page, and feel free. You can reach out to me. I'm sure you can reach out to Sean. I imagine you'll be happy to help. And make sure to like, subscribe, and share as always. Thanks so much again for coming on. It was a real pleasure, and I look forward to all this integration, so I can, quite frankly, switch off all of these programs that I'm using now. I mean, if you guys, Vulcan, I really do like Vulcan, but if eventually there's some kind of dialing system that you guys come up with that I like better, sign me up. Take my money. I'm totally game.
Sounds good. Well, we look forward to seeing you in person when we're next in town.
Absolutely. Where are you right now?
I'm in New York, Soho.
Okay, so that's where you're generally based.
Yeah, I mean, we come down to Miami almost every month, but yeah, we're based in New York.
Okay, fantastic. That's where I'm from originally. I moved from New York 3 years ago.
Yeah, I remember you said that. Yeah.
Exciting
to move to Miami.
I can't complain. Are you planning on making the move?
Yeah. Could be. Yeah. I was actually potentially thinking about it at some point in the near future, but if not, I'll see you on one of the upcoming trips.
Absolutely. Looking forward. Thanks so much, Sean.
Awesome.
See you soon.
Thanks, man. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.